When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Make we talk. People.
Welcome to the program. Welcome to Make We Talk here on the Make We Talk program, a special edition. With me this evening, I have Dr. Jermaine Gordon. He's the CEO of OBC Radio. Welcome, Dr. Gordon.
Good evening, and thanks for having me. You can't hear me? You hear me?
Yeah, hearing you now. You can speak a little louder.
Okay, let me just get this up.
Yes.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good evening, and thanks for having me on your program. So make we talk.
Dr. Gordon, tell us
good
who
evening,
you
good
are.
evening, people.
Jamaican by birth and a broadcaster, journalist, everything in one.
Well, I am. My name is Dr. Jermaine Gordon. I was born in Kingston, Jamaica. I grew up in Vineyard Town, a little community called McGregor Gully, Kingston 3. I leave McGregor Gully in 2003 and went on a boat.
Yes.
I migrated in 2009 and I entered into the fashion industry in New York 2014. When I entered the fashion industry in 2014, I went in the industry with the intention to get the person that I was talking to at the time, my then partner at the time, into the fashion industry as a model, because in my head, my age, from what Kingsley Cooper told us when I was modeling with Kingsley in Jamaica, that at a certain age in New York, past 24, 25, you really won't make nothing if you're modeling. Okay. So when I came here, I was already 33. So I doubted myself and didn't want it to go, but I went because I was introduced in the fashion industry by celebrity hairstylist, Gerard Doré, God bless his soul. And what a lot of people didn't know, or didn't know that I was in a shelter in New York when I was in the fashion industry. So when people see me on my most fabulous photograph that we can find with the celebrities on the red carpet, I was living in a shelter no one knew. Goes to show not everything glitter is gold.
Gold, indeed.
I was there in the shelter for a period of time, and I met this young man, Gerard Doré. And people meet you and they tell you all sort of stuff. They drive plane, they fly car, they go to space and go to Mars, and and you're like skeptical. Oh yeah, right. So when this guy was telling me that he's a celebrity hairstylist and who he knows, and he have done Beyonce's, he has done Patti LaBelle, they Braxton's.
Mhm.
Here, I was like, oh yeah, whatever.
So tell me how you get into journalism.
Journalism is from I moved from New York in 2021 and came to Florida.
Mhm.
And when we came to Florida, we wanted to open a television network. If you notice, the logo says OBC TV.
Yes.
So we target ourselves for a 8 months period where we would start broadcasting on Roku and some other network.
Right.
But by the time I realized by the time was winding down, I realized it would be too much content. So I've gone ahead into get the radio. I've signed with license with ASCAP. And the good thing about it, I've licensed with ASCAP and I've licensed as a television and a radio station.
So pretty soon you can branch off into television.
Right. And it's a good thing I've done both because the television didn't work out. It would be too much content to create.
Right. So tell me now. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So that's where I started doing journalism. I pick up journalism after in 2020, after I got the honorary doctorate from ULC.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that I had the station, the founder and one of the owner of the radio station. So I okay, let me go into some study and research.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I start. So it's in fact, this year, in September, the ending of September, is 2 years.
So tell the Make We Talk audience now, how did you get to talk to Jamaica's world-class Minister of Finance, Dr. Nigel Clarke?
Well, it happened that the Lord blessed me with okay. I wrote an article because I've heard the cry. I've got few WhatsApp group.
Yes.
I've got a WhatsApp group, OBC Radio WhatsApp group, and the radio station have a WhatsApp group where over 400 people in it, and I have another WhatsApp group. So I get things coming in and out in that group. So I hear the cry of people, and I want to see on social media what's going on and so on and so forth. I wrote an article when I realized that there was an announcement, people crying, social media was in a awakening when Dr. Nigel Clarke announced that the citizens will be paying back the paying $15 million for SSL's salary.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't sit well with me after the crying for the 3 years that they promised with prosperity and so on and so forth.
Right.
So there's always a rebel in me where people problem, I pick it up on my head.
Yes.
Sometimes it really has nothing to do with me, but it's just something in me where I have to fight for the cause. So being that we have the radio station and we say second chances, our slogan says second chances for the forgotten voices.
Mm-hmm.
It was of highly importance that I become a voice for the people because I realized that, and that's one of the main reasons why I really went into journalism, to give voice to the voiceless, because I realized these media hosts, there's a lot of talents across the board, and there are people who they cast off and people tell them they won't come out to nothing. Those people who people think they will never make it or come out to something good.
Yes.
Those are the people that I'm trying to cater for,
right.
To give them a voice, because they have talent right across the board, and it's no longer talent that's winning, it's sacrifice and who have the money can pay for this. So that's where we're going to. So the fact that we have the voice for the slogan says second chances for the voiceless. I wanted to be the voice for the voiceless. So I wrote an article, a sarcastic article, but however, it titled Jamaican government stole Usain Bolt money and asking taxpayers to repay.
Yes.
And I tagged Dr. Nigel Clarke in it, and I tag Andrew Olness in the article.
That is on the OBS Instagram page.
OBC.
OBC,
I don't know why people always say OBS, not you alone.
Sorry, OBC.
It's on the Instagram page, and it's also on our website, but our website crashed and we're getting it up. But the article caught his attention, and he decided to call me to let me know that he called the radio station to let us know that it's a lie. The article was libelous. And in all fairness, he called the radio station number. When you call the 800 number, it tells you that the conversation will be recorded. Right.
Oh, okay. So, but before you go any further, Dr. Gordon, it tells you it's going to be recorded. So he knows the conversation is being recorded.
Yes, because it's tell you that it's going to be recorded. Anybody call 1-800-944, not now while I'm on 2166 because I'm in studio. You will see that it tells you. However, I totally forgot that he had called because I wasn't in studio. I came in studio with the call. Let me explain to you all. I was outside and I took the call, it forward to my mobile phone. So when I saw the number came up now, it just came with a Jamaican number. So I answered the phone, and the person said, "Hello, I heard the voice, and you hear the conversation."
Yes.
And when he identified himself that he's Nigel Clarke, I immediately start giving his title, Dr. Nigel Clarke, and every time I call him Dr. Nigel Clarke. And I immediately now take out the other phone because the call came in on this phone. So I immediately take this phone and start recording to let it go in my WhatsApp group, forgetting that he had called through the motherboard on the radio station, right? So in all fairness, while I was recording the conversation to drop it, because I'm like, oh, this is hot. While I'm recording the conversation to drop it in the WhatsApp group, as it go further in the discussion, when you hear he said, "Can we talk? Is this conversation being recorded?"
Hold on a minute. Remember what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna find the video to let our listeners and viewers know what we're talking about.
Okay.
I am not that high tech like some of you, so bear with me, please.
I'm seeing on Instagram.
Somebody works in OBC, Kevin.
OBC what? Kevin?
Kevin.
Oh, Kevin. Yeah, Kevin. Can I speak to you about your Instagram page?
What you want to speak about Instagram page?
I'm seeing some very libelous material.
What libelous material? Who am I speaking with?
This is Nigel Clarke.
Okay, Dr. Clarke. What libelous material you're seeing?
I'm seeing on Instagram page Jamaican government stole Usain Bolt's money. Demand taxpayers to pay back.
Yes. And you're saying that, well, first of all, I appreciate you taking the time to call. And you're saying that the information is libelous.
Absolutely. My God, this is nasty and libelous.
Let me ask you something, Dr. Clarke. Aren't you the finance minister of Jamaica?
Yes?
It is under your watch over $300 billion.
Okay, before we go into that part, Dr. Clarke, when he said to you, oh my God, this is nasty, he's talking about the article that you wrote and put on OBC
Yes, I'm
Instagram
trying
page.
to.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
Give me a sec. I'm trying to see if I can locate the
article, yes.
Yes.
If you're just joining us, we're speaking to Dr. Jermaine Gordon, world-renowned journalist, CEO of OBC Radio, and he had a conversation with Jamaica's world-class Minister of Finance, the Honorable Dr. Nigel Clarke. And based on the conversation he had, you know.
Oh, I didn't even remember. Now I see why he had called me, and people wondering why the Ministry of Justice didn't call me, because I had changed I didn't even realize that I'd changed the headline. I'd changed the headline to Nigel Clarke, the mastermind behind Jamaica reverse Robin Hood scheme, sarcasm alert. So I totally forgot. Yes. Now I see why he called. Because
that's why the minister called. Go ahead.
Yes, well, you're not going to see it from here. I totally forgot that the headline, I changed the headline from Jamaican government stole Usain Bolt money, because that was supposed to be the headline, but I changed it, forgotten that I changed it. So now I'm looking at the article, now I see why he called personally. So the article headline, the titled, Nigel Clarke, the mastermind behind Jamaica's reverse Robin Hood scheme, sarcasm alert. And the photograph features Gene Punt and his friend, Andrew Holness's friend and boss, and himself, along with SSL
owners and CEO.
No, SSL
building.
Building, right. So under that photograph, it reads, citizens are asking how is it possible for over $3 billion went missing from a firm and government were not aware. So it reads, in a stunning display of financial, so this is the libelous material, the article that he said was libelous. So it reads, in a stunning display of financial powers, the Jamaican government, under the esteemed leadership of Andrew Holness and his band of merry friends, has managed to misplace a mere $12 million that rightfully belongs to the legendary Usain Bolt, among other millions of US dollars. And now Finance Minister Nigel Clarke, the impotent of integrity and accountability, is graciously asking the citizens of Jamaica to repay the stolen funds. How lucky we are to have such brilliant minds in charge. I have a photograph of Nigel Clarke, and it says Nigel Clarke, Jamaican finance minister. Under his watch, over $3 billion went missing from SSL. So the article continues. It's truly awe-inspiring to witness the audacity of Clarke has he stepped forward to shoulder the burden of the government's misneeds?
Mm-hmm.
Who needs a responsible government when I have a finance minister who can magically make money disappear and then ask the citizen to cough up the missing funds? It's like witnessing a modern day Houdini, except instead of escaping from a straitjacket, he's escaping from any sense of accountability. Let's take a moment and appreciate sheer brilliance of the reverse Robin Hood scheme. The government, in its infinite wisdom, has managed to steal from the rich and give to the poor themselves. Well, I say it's a sarcastic article.
Okay.
Well, themselves, apparently, who needs to rob the poor when you can rob everyone and then ask them to repay what you stole? It's a stroke of genius that would make even the most seasoned con artists green with envy. A photograph of the friend Gene Panton, founder of SSL, charged for fraud over $3 billion from investment firm.
Mm-hmm.
And let's not forget the role of our beloved leader, Andrew Holness, in his grand escapade with the charismatic smile and silver tongue. He managed to convince the nation that he was the epitome of honesty and transparency. Little did we know that he and his cronies were busy concocting plans to snuff off funds meant for national icons like Usain Bolt. Bravo, Mr. Holness. Bravo. And I have a photograph. This is the article that he called about.
So hold on there now. Nigel Clarke saw that article on OBC radio station Instagram page.
Mm-hmm.
And he sees fit now to call you and tell you to take it down.
Yes.
Because it is damaging the character of the leadership of the great Michael Andrew Brogard Holness and
himself,
world-class Minister of Finance. Go ahead. But before you go ahead, Doc, I have with me my good friend Luke George Cook, well-known human rights activist and political commentator.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Cook.
Good evening, Doc. Jeffrey tends to make me feel proud of myself that I've achieved some of these wonderful things, human rights activists. But it's interesting that you wrote that article. They're suing you?
I dare them to. I dare them to.
But you know, Jeffrey,
yes.
It's sad because you see where you have right here, so now you have the Jamaica youngest prime minister and possibly our youngest finance minister who cannot really convince the Jamaican people, or they can convince their base, and even their base are upset with the idea that money that has been seized from criminal activity, and some of those money I'd want to think.
Look, we're not seeing your face, you know. The young ladies on YouTube, they're not seeing your face. They want to see your face.
Oh, okay. Them probably want to have nightmare all night tonight, so I'll oblige. Right, the prime minister and the youngest. Jeffrey, may I set up me just come from bookshop, Jeffrey. I've been out all day at bookshops, different bookshops, trying to get books.
That we can get Dr. Garden comment on everything. Go ahead.
Right. The youngest prime minister and the youngest minister of finance have to convince the Jamaican people as to why SSL, which is a private run investment firm, why is it that the Jamaican people have to to bail them out? What moral obligation do we have to bail them out? I would want to think that you would have gone after the proprietors of SSL, seize their assets and start compensating not only Usain Bolt, but there are other persons that were defrauded out of
74 other accounts, which the names have yet to mention.
Exactly.
No,
And
I
so,
am wondering if those other 40 names that added that's top secret are names like possible members from both the People's National Party and Nigel himself, among others, member, because you can't tell me, the Prime Minister is not just anybody. No, look, let we break it down. The Prime Minister of the country has interests in investing in a firm.
Right.
Now, Mark, when one is going to invest in any firm, if you have your money and you're gonna put it away in a firm, you are going to make sure you know what that firm is about. You're gonna do investigation, top and bottom, or so. As a normal citizen, especially if you are the Prime Minister of the country, you gonna make sure you look thoroughly who owns it,
Doc,
what is going on. Yes.
it wasn't then. Hold on. No, in a 2018, one man named Mitchell did write a report about SSL, indicating that the red flags were to go up because misappropriation of funds and other things were taking place in there. And even Alum Asamba came out and said government had invested some money into the scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't this a return of a Carlos Hill cash plus where government seems to have the inside information and pull out their money before other people? So even with the fact that it was that report was tabled and sent to the government of Jamaica, nobody has said to us, Doc, what had happened, what action did the government take to stop the bloodletting? What was the interim report from the committee that it was reported to? And hence, why did they allow for it to go on until this young man who worked so hard? Remember at one point, we never thought Usain Bolt would have been no lightning bolt and no world record holder because he had so many injuries that we thought that they could count him out, and he came back.
Only that, a lot of country had offer to take him, and he stick with Jamaica.
And he
chose to stick with Jamaica.
And then to stick with your country as a true patriot. This is what them really do. And Nigel, but I mean, no, look here, Luke.
Hold on, Mr. Cook, because I want to point some stuff out so the people them can see. Because I like waking people up. I like being there waking. Now, if you notice, as I was saying, if you're the Prime Minister and you're going to invest in a company, you are going to make sure you investigate thoroughly and know what that company is about, who is in the company, and so on and so forth. The fact that in 2018, Aluna Asamba came out and spoke about it, the other gentleman wrote about it, and immediately Andrew Holness withdrew himself from it. What was it that the Prime Minister knew
then and now?
Why he withdrew? The Prime Minister who had interest in a company, who came out publicly and talk about his big mansion that he built. Now, if you're doing so well and getting so much from a company, if it not broke, don't fix it. Why run? What was it that you knew? And you're a public servant working for us, the people. So it's not supposed to be in silent. It's supposed to come out to the public for the public to have knowledge of it. We need to see the name. And you see the opposition party, I don't know what them sit down doing, you know. I don't know what they sit down doing, because these are the things that the opposition party should be talking about. They should be calling for the...
What dog?
Yeah.
Maybe why they can't talk. Jeffrey, shut them out. Maybe why they can't talk is because they're certain...
Invest from both sides, invest in it. That's true. And they continue playing from both and taking people for fool.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with everything that went on with SSL, Andrew came out in 2018. Nigel Clarke claimed to say, first of all, let me just point this out. He told the people that it's $15 million. However, he told me that it's $9 million. What the 5 point something million dollars where you add weight going to campaign?
But not only that, you know. Jamaica's world-class Minister of Misinformation, the goodly gentleman there, Nestor Morgan, in a Jamaica House press briefing that I carry on this channel, he told the people of Jamaica and the diaspora that the funds were coming from drugs money, in the sense of, when I say drugs money, I mean people's money that the government hold on to because they catch them in some other games or whatever. So the question that we need to ask the Minister of Misinformation, Jamaica's world-class Minister of Misinformation, what we need to ask him is how much money is in that account that they can go from and money.
You mean ask her?
I am not. I am not going to. The question we need to ask Nestor Morgan: how much money does the government have in an account where you have criminals' funds that you take up? You have drugs money that you have in there. How much money is in that account?
Let me tell you why they do this. And if you notice, when Dr. Nigel Clarke is speaking, he keep on referring to America.
Yes.
Other countries. Remember, I'm not a career politician, sir. Sir, I'm not a career politician, sir.
Let us play this video. Let us play the video, Doc. Let us play the video everybody can see. Let us play the video that everyone can see that what we're talking about, we're not lying.
When under fraud.
Hold on there for me.
Go down.
Trying to call. And you're saying that the information is liable?
Absolutely. My God, this is nasty and libelous.
Let me ask you something, Dr. Clarke. Aren't you the Finance Minister of Jamaica?
Yes.
Isn't it under your watch over $300 billion went missing under fraud?
No, sir. I think you have your facts mixed up.
Yes, because I said 300 billion.
Jamaica operates a market economy where individuals can start companies, and those individuals, those board shareholders, are responsible for the administration of those companies.
Oh, Lord. sorry.
Yeah, gonna show the ad. I remember the conversation.
Yes.
And people, people that's gonna distract because I remember the conversation, and then it's there. People can always watch it, go and see it after. And
the thing you have here, what you have here,
what people can do. Let me just start.
You know, something that
Dr. Garden is correct. People can go to the Make the Talk YouTube channel or the OBC YouTube channel.
Yes, and you will see the video. Let me just talk about it because that's gonna like go back and forth and throw me off on what I'm saying.
Jeffrey, what I'm trying to find out? What was he saying was libelous, doc? That you had to pinpoint. The article was libelous.
Yeah, the article is saying was libelous. But anyway, to hell with the libelous because he totally forgot about the libelous when I let him know who I am, and he was just about sir, an apology. So he forget that he called about a libelous material. So I'm not into the libelous. But if you notice when he was speaking, he keeps saying, "Sir, I'm not a career politician, sir. And America this." And if you notice when Cash Plus and Old Linton, you know what he's saying? Everybody come in and get for them own. So he's trying his thing. No. Old Linton Cash Plus money. Let me tell you why they feel so confident to do what they did. When Bruce Golding came into powers a few years ago, Bruce Golding locked down Cash Plus and Olint. Now, let me enlighten you guys. The present Governor General, Gigi, Pat Allen or Patrick Allen, he was then the president of the Seventh-day Adventists. He had taken the Seventh-day Adventist board over $20 million and invested it into Olinton Cash Plus. When Bruce came into power and locked Cash Plus down and locked Olint down, all hell broke loose in the Seventh-day Adventist board. And Patrick Allen now as the president was to answer to what was going on. Now you see why Bruce placed Patrick Allen as the Governor General. When I say corruption is from the top, corruption is from the top. And that's why Jamaica is where it is today. Bruce put Patrick Allen as Governor General to turn back a favor to get back the money, sweep back the money into the Seventh-day Adventists, the Seventh-day Adventists $20 million that was invested into Olinton Cash Plus. That's why the Governor General is where he is today as a Governor General. Andrew keep him there, they can remain there because guess what? Them know him corrupt.
Oh, so hold on there now for me, Dr. Garden. Hold on. Take a break. So you're saying to me that Jamaica's person that they call the Governor General who goes around and yam.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's a good eater too, you know, not just yam. But continue.
Let me say this. So you're saying,
hold on there. Just in case anybody wondering, let me just explain. You see, when it come on to what I'm saying, me the facts check.
Yes.
Nobody now have to check my facts. I'm quite sure whatever has been talking about has already reached the ears. I know that Sunday there was a meeting I know that Sunday they was calling. None of them have yet to reply to my Mark Golden. I'm watching you too, Mark Golden, Mr. Mark Golden. Don't fall prey, please, Mr. Mark Golden. Reach out. Reach out, because there's questions that need to be asked. You don't have to hide. We not doing, we just want answers. We put on for elect and you want to support the big payment and stuff. We just want question for ask. You are public servants. You can't hide from the public. And y'all can't just continue to go, because guess what? People are awake. What I did on the third year anniversary of the Jamaica Labour Party being in power will go down in history. And the Jamaican people is awake, because if I dealt with Dr. Nigel Clarke the way I dealt with him, it shows that the media house is under full control and in these people's pocket.
Dr. Gordon, is it that Nigel Clarke, how should I put it, is so naive?
No, Jeffrey.
Wait, no, let him ask the question. Wait, let him ask the question, Mr. Cook.
That he's so naive, or is it that he wants to spill the beans on the Labour Party? Why? He knows that you're recording him, but according to him, he wanted to set the record straight, so he continued with the conversation. Do you think that Nigel Clarke wants to spill the beans on the Labour Party?
No, I don't think he did it deliberately. It wasn't a deliberately thing. Just like how I had forgotten that he had called the radio station number, because when I think I deleted the WhatsApp thing that I was recording, it's a good thing it was on the radio, continued based on where the conversation went.
Yes.
So I don't think he was manipulating the situation, or he was trying to give out something. I pull things from out of him, and but it's so funny because me always I pull information from him and he starts spilling the beans, not knowing that he was being recorded, because he felt comfortable talking, running his mouth. Because if you have to remember, when he called in from first, he was so adamant that he was in control, the power. Nobody talked down to this big financial, the man who run the budget of Jamaica.
Yes, the $1 trillion budget.
Yes. So he came in with authority and power. And then remember, I was just only Kevin. Until 25 minutes down in the conversation, to hell with it, is Dr. Gordon you're speaking with. Now, when I say that, if you go back and listen, you hear when he shut. He take a deep breath. Oh, Dr. Gordon, medical or PhD? Oh, Dr. Gordon, and he button up his sleeve and he put on his cap and he put on his necktie and he shine his shoes before he went into the conversation. And he totally toned down his voice. So I don't think it was something intentionally where he did it. Maybe he has over, because when the phone call started, you hear the ringing and you hear the calling and you hear the operator talking and so forth. So if you press off something for move to the extension, you won't continue to hear it. So maybe he was just interested to get to somebody, so he didn't even hear the recording that was there. That's it. But I don't believe that he spoke those things wanted to. Because at the end of the conversation, he mentioned that the country is going in the right direction.
Oh God. So
yes.
Dr. Gordon, I'm gonna get Luke George will be coming to this now. But let me ask you this question here. Let me make this statement here. I have never in my entire life listened to a politician have a conversation with a journalist or with an individual so long on a telephone call? When I listen to your conversation with Dr. Nigel Clarke, I said to myself, Nigel is very comfortable.
But you see, he had was to be comfortable because I identify myself. He had no other choice.
Dr. Gordon said he responded to the title Dr. Gordon. The man have ambition string around him neck and him have postnomas. But what I would like to find out, Dr. Gordon, as the first class finance minister and the brightest mind that Jamaica has had, who has responsibility for oversight of investment company? Because isn't these companies still regulated by the Bank of Jamaica?
Was that a question or a rhetorical one?
No, it's not. It's a question.
Or you asking because you want me to say it because I'm afraid?
Look here, Dr. Gordon. I know we're here.
Okay, let me answer that question. Let me answer that question. Hold on. You asked the question, let me answer it. I get it. Let me answer it. You have to understand that Nigel have a big budget. So it's a big, you ask who is overseeing and control. It's a big budget. You have a big nose overseeing.
So the Bank of Jamaica still has regulating powers over investment firm. Hence, we also need to ask, when the report came in, Dr. Gordon, why did the bank not flag it? And therefore, why did they not take actions?
Okay, so somebody here sensible now, because when I spoke and I asked Dr. Nigel Clarke, when I'm telling them they're supposed to take responsibility, they are saying to me, I see a few little idiots saying, oh, how is it that you don't understand what Nigel is saying? Nigel is saying the truth. He's explaining you have to do this and you. It's like people lost, or it's just that they get so naive
to
what's going on and allow these things to continue to happen.
No, but Jeffrey, if Doc is saying that we have what is called the financial regulating body that and it is the body that falls under the management of the Bank of Jamaica. If Nigel also wants to be the next prime minister, he certainly does not just want to be the Minister of Finance. He has demonstrated that he has a keen interest becoming the next prime minister.
Ooh,
if in 20, yes, if yes, man, he want to be prime minister. Remember, I wrote
that will never happen because Andrew Holness wasn't supposed to be prime minister. You know, let me tell you it's because of the landslide, because the U.S. government, when Andrew Holness was under investigation by the U.S. government, you know, with among the Geddes firm and the election thing, and that's where Darrell Vaz visa got taken away. What do you mean, Denon Geddes?
Denon Geddes.
Yes. Them visa get taken, Darrell Vaz visa get taken, and he was under investigation. They had wanted him to step down. He was supposed to come out because Dr. Christopher Tufton has been in training for years to become the leader of the Jamaica Labour Party. But Andrew end up coming out with it. And, excuse me. And that's why there was a little eruption the other day. But because
so Manayard was never considered, Doc? Manayard never had a chance?
No, it was Dr. Christopher Tufton. I knew this from when Bruce Golding was in. Remember Patrick Bailey? Remember Patrick Bailey? Patrick Bailey play my instrument.
The Patrick Bailey, the competent lawyer at court.
Man, people think you say incompetent, you know.
The competent. I said the competent. I don't want nobody to sue me for being liable.
Yes, the Patrick Bailey. Patrick Bailey has keyboards that play good instruments.
Doc, thank you for the information. FYI.
I don't want.
Yeah, that's not serious. But going back to the report, Doc. When them get the report, what should have really happened, and why you think it never happened, that it became public so that persons could have seen what was in the report? Certainly, I'm wondering how were the investors informed at that time, and why didn't the investor come out and take a public stand against what was in that report?
And why are these things not public, in the public domain? Why are we not knowing these things?
Well, they tend to put on gag orders, but especially, but not on people who have good keyboard that can play instruments.
That word? What that
gag
word? Gag order. Because Patrick don't have gag reflex. I'm not speaking alleged. I'm not speaking in an alleged term. Be careful when you call the words them, because when you call the words them just come up. Yeah.
But why you think that we tell the information from the investors, Doc?
They had okay. You have to understand when a crime scene when a crime happen and the place become a crime scene, the place yellow tape. I don't know who is like he was teaching a kindergarten. Like on TV, you see the yellow tape. It's a crime scene. Okay, the fact that it's a crime scene, it should be closed. Nobody should be there to tamper with the crime scene, because that's what's going on now. And you're lying to the public that the FBI is there. Bullshit. If the FBI was there, what's going on right now couldn't be going on, because that place would be locked. Nobody would be there in period, and every worker shouldn't be asking for payment. They should be subpoena for whenever trial come. They're supposed to come in and come testify. Some of them passport for even get seized in case they want to run. That's how it's supposed. That's what investigation
is agree with you.
About.
You're the first revolutionist. I agree with, because I want to think, Jeffrey, that some of those people should have by now become state witness against the crime that took place there. But I am wondering, though, that you don't think that there are some big people who might have borrowed this money as people are saying on the street, to fund the last election, and they've never get to put it back in time.
Let me show you a pattern here. Patrick, Andrew, Nigel. Now, Patrick,
Governor, Prime Minister, and Finance Minister.
Patrick get disembarred from practicing law. Why? Stealing people's money, including the boy them were. Saturday I don't want to give it that, you know, because I was about to call the name. Hey, that long hair girl, you Rasta girl, you evil.
Oh Lord.
You evil like a Rasta girl. Yes, you Patrick daughter. You know exactly who I'm talking to. But Saturday I'm coming for you.
But you mean the person name that start with T?
I don't want to give it too much, you know, Saturday come drink tea. Saturday make you come drink tea. Yes.
So why is it, you know what is true?
They couldn't.
You Saturday.
they couldn't have come out and said much because it's a coup. Patrick disembarked for stealing money. Why? Because the man we are run the country, who I'm buddy and best friend, a thief too. Andrew come out of SSL, money missing, the gardener where used to work at Patrick Place, left and come a foreign. It could be, that's why I'm talk about it, because more want people to understand. It could be me get killed in a Patrick Bailey house. I could leave and come to America just like how Jermaine came. His last name is Jermaine Junior Gully. Like how Gully came to America and invest and work his ass and send money but give Patrick for purchase house, and Patrick try thief it. And when all hell they go broke loose. So all of these something is schools, them could have never come out and talk about it because SSL was a prominent donor for the Jamaica Labour Party campaign.
Hold on there for me, Doc. Remember what you're gonna say. Look, do you remember when the great Sheriff Knight said that Jamaica is gonna pay dearly?
Sheriff,
because of how much $1 billion the Labour Party used to run the election. You remember when KD Knight said it?
Mm-hmm. I don't really want to hear nothing from him. Not a credible source, but yes, I remember.
KD Knight, a old criminal too.
No, I don't want to hear anything from them. It's hard for us to use them as the reference point.
No, but
the truth of the matter is that
in all fairness, he did came out and talk about it.
He did come out and say that, Jeffrey.
Yes.
But why never say how much them take? We must create balance, you know. If we want to reach somewhere, we must create balance because the country has suffered from the two diatribes.
KD Knight wasn't gonna talk. Okay, let me tell you, these politics, what they do, it's a trick. They come and they give partial information for the public to rail up, and when it benefit them, went for the party. He couldn't have given telling how much because then it would have exposed the PNP candidate them who were in the SSL also.
And then that's the question I want to ask. Why is that the People's National Party is not
talking about it?
Spoken against the SSL
true.
But not you know that them can't do that because the truth of the matter that when the JLP was coming out of office, the then finance minister who became the Minister of Transport and Work says that some of the things that he stumbled up on when they took back office, it would see the whole member slate of the JLP going to jail, but he never pursued a lawsuit, nor did he bring these people before an industrial tribunal to get them to repay the things that he found. But the truth of the matter, can a thief talk about another thief, honestly? Because the truth is, Jeffrey, don't each of them share secrets alike, because when them ready, they all talk behind the Jamaican people's back. They all do each other's favor, and sometimes they scratch each other.
Answer that question. They will come broad face and speak about it in their honest terms. They don't care. Bruce come out and say nothing in cabinet when him know say over 7 of them they are fuck batty in a cabinet and a suck cocky in a cabinet.
Yes, true. I wish that because no. But Jeffrey, yeah, that was something that everybody started in Jamaica was laughing when Bruce said nothing in his cabinet. When people are aware of people.
I wonder. Let me tell you something. Let me put on the mind to something. You see the little pinkness right here, so lavender, whatever you want to call it. Look at feminist right here, so let me bring on somewhere now. Why don't I believe Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister, is so adamant that if somebody say your nose big, him boys them go find them wherever in the world them there and demand a public apology? Where you think him have a hide? No. The other day them have a gospel, what they call a gospel concert. Let me open the eyes. It wasn't a gospel concert. It was a Obia ceremony.
Oh.
Kukudu, another gay person. Why Kukudu? Another gay person. I can't tell you no, I don't like Kukudu, because Kukudu fuck my man. He make me left Jamaica. That was my last straw why I left Jamaica.
Hold on.
Kukudu. Think I me no know. Think me no know. I personally know Kukudu go Commodore over Commodore in Linstead. No Kukudu from there, so I don't have to call the other names them. I know say Kukudu a big obia man. When I hear the Jamaican people them talk about monkey and the effing the monkey. The monkey is the obia man and the obia woman. Well, Kukudu are one of the monkey. Kukudu a big obia man. And the gay community at large in a Jamaica and the international one them know say Kukudu a big, not small one. Who also take part in a Patrick Place too. Why you think Kukudu is the one who write the song for the Jamaica Labour Party team song? Why you think Andrew Holness have Kukudu beside him the other night about them gospel concert? Why you think it was important for Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister, to say Obia, out of all things, should consider legalize? Uno come check me now. May I wait for uno come check me? Uno too quiet over this, man.
So that call them now. You're not afraid them over here.
My mother used to tell me some obia from my barn. Yeah, my obia from my barn.
Right. But Jeffrey, no, put our joke aside though. That might be that now all about nothing what him say. But the truth of the matter is that you have to also look at it in terms of the spiritual components that is at work in this country that we don't want to pay mind to. But Doc, me no want you stray from. Me want to go back to where you said, because me like when people say it as it is. No problem. If the US government had an interest in the SSL saga, what do you think they would have been doing at this point? Apart from the fact that we were told that the FBI, and what do you think of the company that was hired to do the forensic audit of SSL? Why is it there not a report or a term report coming out of these investigations? We can't get back to the niceness, but I want people to understand, say, there is too much lies that are being told.
The US government is not involved. And let me tell you why the US government is not involved. The US government is mad at Jamaica because Jamaica have China populating up Jamaica, giving them so much land and vast business. That's a threat to America. So if they ever give America the chance to investigate a run in, run out, turn upside down.
Remember, Luke George book, that retired FBI agent said it, and we have been saying it all along, that if the FBI do come into Jamaica, they will not allow them to go to Jamaica House and dig up their books at Jamaica House, or down at the Parliament, or down at the Ministry of Finance, or the Ministry of Education. So they are just lying to the people of Jamaica about the FBI in Jamaica. And hold on there, Doc. And we must ask this question. Why is it that the British government is give Jamaica a grant of £50,000, that's 10 million Jamaican dollars, to help investigate SSL? You look, George, go? I'm not hearing you.
Jeffrey, the Britain giving money to Jamaica for SSL, they need to give money for repatriation. I would love to find out that since it was a British firm that was given the mandate, or the firm selected to carry out the forensic audit, Where is the midterm report of that audit? And what it is that that audit will produce that will help us to understand who are the real players in the background that took this money. Where did this money go over a period of time? And I'm also concerned for the safety of Gina and Panton, because if they were to get rid of Gina and Panton and this bandit of thieves who are at SSL now, demanding that they be paid, but not stepping up to the plate to say what was happening at SSL, why should we pay them? They don't deserve a dime, right? So Britain giving money to the government of Jamaica is not, in no way is it playing out where we're going to see the real criminals behind the SSL saga. And what does this say about the safety of the investment portfolio that I believe that the minister should have been far more interested to give the assurance to the Jamaica by ensuring that we're getting to the bottom of the investigation, and more we see other people going off to prison, their assets seized in yellow stripes, and their assets seized, and the investors can get back their money.
The only way that can happen unless we start marching. Unless we demand, we the people start sitting down on the internet and talking about it. Yes, it's good to gather up campaigning and stuff, but without action.
Jermaine, Jermaine, look here. Mama tell you see Jamaica, we're too subdivided and polarized. The other day with the wage increase, some people come out. The teachers, them never come out with a few people. Give me a sec, please. Right? Jeffrey, the teachers and the civil servants did not come out in drone with the people. No, I believe that everybody should have a sit-in where everybody decides that we're not turn up our work until you give us the information about the SSL saga, and we must demand from you through those sit-ins. Because here's what is true. You don't want to go out there as an individual, Jeffrey Tavares, because you are going to be identified and persecuted and brought before the court of the new Pontius Pilate and be buried. And so part of the mechanism that they continue to use is to ensure that them intimidate any free speaker of Jamaica who is saying that, like how John the Baptist spoke truth to power, here comes the new John the Baptist in the form of Jermaine Gordon. I'm sure some people are not going to like him because of him not hold back anything. But them don't want much. Many of the people who are supposed to have the sense to articulate it, them not gonna do it because they are waiting for a government contract. Them talk on the back of them veranda, them tell you the story.
Hold on. Don't say, let us, okay. Because there is an awakening. I know what we used to, but things have to change. And the law of attraction is very important. So if we continue to sit and talk and says, oh, them now go do and we now go do. By
all right, them are gonna do. Them are gonna do. Let us use the law of attraction. But look, you don't hear the people like, yeah. All right, let us go for that positive outlook because we want to make sure that the energy that we're attracting or the God in heaven will now empower men and women like John the Baptist to get up to speak truth to power. Richard Biles, who before he took the position at the Bank of Jamaica, would oftentimes call out the government on malpractices. The bank has not issued a statement. The financial regulation bodies have not issued a statement. The Bankers Association and investors have not issued a statement. All right, so let us say that we galvanize the people now. With how this government feel like they are the untouchable, they are the godfathers of the Caribbean. Do you honestly think that they are going to give the people what they demand? Because let me use Jeffrey word for argument's sake. In what modern democracy could Mr. Holness and Dr. Nigel Clarke is in administration of a government where people are losing their money, and one of your biggest brand has lost his, and you have not gone out to ensure to ensure that you are going to convince investors to come that Jamaica is safe because you are ready to take action. Instead, you're taking money, Dr. Gordon, that schools can't open up. Jose Marti was flooding out. Hospitals are in shambles. People are living in absolute squalor. People on medication in Jamaica can't take the medication because they can't buy food. But we are helping a private entity. And in what modern democracy would we not have asked these people to go? Because they're not working on our behalf. They're not working on our behalf.
Yes, they are.
How so?
They switch that's the thing. They switch the narrative and make it in control where it seems like, because if, as I say, if you continue to speak, if we continue to tell a child them dunce and so, even when I'm an educated person, if everybody run me and tell me some dunce, and especially I have my significant other in the house beside me, and he also saying that you dunce, so eventually at time like you start looking yourself, but one day it's not really dunce. So you got to understand these things up now. They control the narrative and then make it switch, make it seems like we aren't supposed to be the bosses for them and they are the bosses for us. They switch the narrative.
Yes.
And until we start waking up and letting people, the citizens know, because guess what? Somebody just turned 18, them don't really understand certain things and stuff and don't know what was going on back then and stuff. So those things, and remember, it's new voters, first-time voters who really gave Andrew the spot. And remember, majority is only 32% of the country voted. So all those young people who have never heard certain things and know, say, oh, they want a change and looking for a change and get to do this and whatever it is, and it reached the stage. But it is a thing where we can get back to basic and take control of the narrative, because we are the boss. We put them in there. We paying them with our taxpayers' money. And until people start realizing that and have that power and that authority to know that they are the boss, they serve us.
Let me welcome our senior this evening, the man who is the father of the Make We Talk programs, a person who I look up to, Herb Nelson Jr. Welcome to the program, Mr. Nelson.
Hi, good evening, Jeff and Sir Luke. Good to see everybody, and
Herb, Dr.
hear a lot of energy.
Dr. Like the Sir Luke, so just a look.
People, I'm gonna ask. I will be here, but I'm just gonna take my ugly face away for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have a question?
But listen, greetings to your listeners. They're good people out there, and blessings to you all. Talking about the gentleman in question that Dr. got with recently. This man one lie to cover the first lie, then he tells another lie to maintain, and after a while he's wrong. I don't know if this is Minister of Information that put him up to this. But one thing he's got to realize that when you lie, that you lose your self-respect, your integrity is gone, and people will begin to doubt you. If they hear you coming on because they're sick and tired of hearing the mess coming out of your mouth.
Yes.
Right? Now, that's how involved the FBI was as a reassurance that they're going to get to the bottom of this. But at the same time, the owner of SSL and the former CEO, his son, were never questioned by anyone that we can see. There's no transparency. There's never been any people accountable when they played what played all of this. Now, I recall specifically that the owner says he will leave his son wanted to take some of the clientele's monies. At the time, he said, if he wants to take the clientele's monies and invest in different programs, it's done before. And the more you think about it, there were some that were monies were missing from, including
hold on for Mr.
bonds.
Herb. Mr. Herb, hold on for me.
Yeah.
Hold on for Mr. Herb.
Yeah.
You're cracking up. I'm trying to figure out something here because the sound. Your
have
sound
him
is
go in.
cracking up.
Have him leave and come back.
Sir Herb, leave and come back in. Doc.
Right.
Yes, leave and come back in, Sir Herb.
One have to understand, you see, I was talking about a pattern earlier, and let me watch the pattern. Let me go back to Peter King. Government entity was involved in Peter King thing, and it cover up, you don't hear nothing about it. Anytime government is involved in anything, it cover up under the table, or anytime a government entity.
Which Peter King we're talking about?
Ambassador Peter King. You don't know.
You
Peter
mean
King, you're old enough. Peter King, where used to bring everybody, anybody come at the house, the ambassador for the United States under PJ Patterson, Peter King, the one that was killed.
Yeah, man. Ambassador Peter King. Cool.
Okay. A whole lot of them. I've also know me up on the tape too, because I've been to the house. And you have to understand that was covered up. Nobody said nothing about it. You don't hear nothing about it. You don't hear that about it. Why? A lot of politicians and member of parliament did involve on that tape. So it would be an embarrassment to Jamaica, so they cover it up. Now watch it. Anytime a government entity is involved in any corruption, that's what Jamaica do. They cover it up and you hear nothing about it. And they come around and beat around the bush and linger it and then you hear nothing. Nigel come on as a new finance minister and notice the pattern. He says he's not a career politician, but he know the pattern based on the stuff them he spoke of and said, oh, look at Linton, Cash Plus, and what he's saying, everybody else do this and do that. It's my turn. Let me do my little thing. That's what he really saying indirectly. We were Jamaican. We spit it as it is. I don't beat around the bush. I talk it as it is. So all these pattern, if you notice, anytime a government entity is involved in any crime and violence, just like Patrick Bailey, a man dead at him house, and him not get charged, nothing no come out of it, it just cover up. Rural Reed, his case is still going on. Oh, just keep putting off. This is the things that they do. And then guess what? When the other party come into power, they don't do nothing, because when the PNP come into power, all of these stuff, when the JLP party come into power, they should be investigating the PNP party for the stuff they did, and vice versa. When they come in, they should be investigating, calling out, leave. But everybody, they're a clique, all of them, everybody. PNP and JLP meet up a Patrick Bailey. Dr.
Hold it.
Herb, take the floor.
So Nelson, you hearing us? I'm not hearing you at all, Sir Herb. Unmute your mic. Not hearing you at all, Sir Herb. If you're just joining us, we're speaking to Dr. Gordon, well-known, renowned journalist. He had a conversation with the world-class Minister of Finance, Dr. Nigel Clarke. We have our guest joining us, Herb Nelson Jr. hearing us?
You hearing me now?
Yes.
So Herb, we're not hearing you at all.
We hear you about a delay. Yeah, we hear you now. All right.
All right,
we hear you now.
Hearing me?
Yeah, we hear you
there's
now.
a delay. There is a delay in the record, the voice.
But Jefferson, not hearing.
I'm hearing you now. I'm hearing you
hear
loud and clear from Nick. Will point to more.
Okay.
Go ahead, Sir Herb.
Continue, Mr. Nelson.
Okay, yeah. Laying out is the fact that the lack of transparency from the start, the finance minister has not blended any type of on part of the government. There's no sound judgment on the part of he's a puppet on a string, and somebody's pulling his string, and then he's repeating his line. Now, he's a man who is I need to mute.
No, continue talking.
Yeah, he's a man, when you speak, this man is troubled. He is not, right? He's troubled about his image. And whatever it is you put out on him, he couldn't have the Minister of Information talk to you. He wanted to do it himself because he could not stand on him and couldn't defend himself. And he tried to, at the same time, he was anxious to hear your point of view, which is why I troubled that. He kept talking about libel, and which somebody told him to bring up, but at the same time he wanted to hear what you had to say about his image, and his image taking a beating.
You have to understand his image.
So my go ahead. What were you saying, Doc?
His image is yeah, you have to understand his image get he had no other option than to control than to speak to me, because when I outright, because what you all don't hear, let me tell you what you don't hear. He was on the phone, and when I'm asking him questions, he went silent, and I'm there just talking. And you hear the conversation cut. When the conversation cut, it's because I get upset and I told him two colorful words. I told him to go S is M, you know the Jamaican terms, and I asked him, go in a pot to make him know, say, listen, I'm not an idiot boy, I get him a ban and go. In the Jamaican term, F-U and go S-U. And hey boy, when I realize I get too loud and vulgar, I say, hey boy, come off my BC phone and hang up my phone. So when you hear he called back now, he called back, and because of the things, oh, you want to know who I am? Go ask Patrick Bailey. So when I start calling name now, it was like, oh my God. So he called back now saying that he understand that I am aware of stuff and I see things. So he realized now I'm somebody with close with them and know a lot of information. So he he was trying his best, but not saying it because I get upset now and I let him know, listen, the conversation recorded and I'm going to put it out. He was trying his best to see if he could talk me out into not putting this conversation out. That's what it is. But even when he continued the conversation and he tried to talk, he sounded a bit genuine one at a time, like he's under pressure and he would do something, but he's like he keeps saying, understand, I'm not a career politician. I am faced with a choice. Dr. Gordon, sir, I'm faced with a choice. So the choice
but Herb,
yeah.
If Nigel says I'm not a career politician, and you find that you're so concerned about your integrity, under your administration and under your Ministry of Finance, the Jamaican people continue to ask that you give them a fair wage for a fair day's work. And you have not delivered that to them. What you did is that you went along with the increase, and the opposition says, well, we didn't know much about the increase, we weren't consulted on it. And while it is important for an increase to come, we would not have expected that the size that it came. Notwithstanding, we will take it. And Mark Golden came out and says, I will take mine as the leader of the opposition, and I'll do charity with it. I'll take what is rightful, my 10%, and then I will dispel of it what is rightful. If he's so concerned,
that's bullshit. That's a political move. That's bullshit. Mark Golden don't mean the people them no good either. Because if he was concerned, he's an opposition leader. He's supposed to oppose. He's not supposed to go
Doc, I'm not going to defend Mark Golden, but when them try to say nothing in the house, when them try to say anything in the house, don't say that. I mean, it would take a personality like yours probably to just tell the speaker to really shut up, because she muzzles them quite a lot of times. I mean, the only thing we see them do, Doc, come on, Doc. All them do is get up and walk out.
Hold on. We're not here to speak on behalf of the politician. We are here for the people, and we have to speak for the people. The people is feeling it. That's what we're here for, the people. We can't hear and speak on behalf of the politician. To hell with them. We elect them to serve us, and they have been doing a terrible job on both let me tell you what's going on in Jamaica. The PSOJ, what's supposed to be a private entity, will control everything in Jamaica, control the two political party, and the PSOJ have the both political party, and fooling the people say, okay, the PSOJ control both PNP and the JLP party. They are all colleagues and friends and collaborators, and they go to the parties them together and they have funds together. They come out and act like they're enemy on television, but they are not. They are all friends and they work together. They only put on a show. Now, when they come out, the PSAJ have them under control, and the PSAJ have the JLP party and the PNP party. We must stop that. Look how much party come and try to put in. Jamaica is not just based on two party. We must get that narrative out of our head that Jamaica is a two party, and it will never happen. Stop saying never, never, never. Stop using that term, because it's up to us to just go on to the poll and put the vote where you know that, somebody that can give a chance and we can really try something. Stop this two-party thing into the two-party narrative, because the PSAJ control both party and they have them as puppet fooling us, the people, and said, okay, if the JLP mess up, use the PNP, and they have the PNP under control, and the PNP the same thing. They come and they put a.
But Jermaine, if you want us to stop the narrative, why is it the people are supportive of the other parties that have put themselves forward?
It's not a matter of why the people are in supportive. It's the matter of we the people always saying, oh no.
Yeah. And I'm passing that, Jermaine. So tomorrow, Jermaine Gordon puts out himself as an independent candidate. I'm using your same words in the law of attraction. Do you believe, although Herb Nelson, Jeffrey Tavares, Luke George Cook, Dr. Jermaine Gordon is here, are the people ready to say that I will vote for these people because they are the ones that are prepared to go and fight for us.
I do believe the people are ready, and it's the time is just that scared, and because people keep coming out and talking and saying, oh no, it's a two-party and it will never happen and never. And you see, as I said, when you keep talking about something never, and it come out and people start believing, we start hearing it and like, oh, you know, say I see this candidate and him can do better for the country.
But gentlemen, we must look at it from a different angle to you. And I want to apologize to no one. Majority of the Jamaican people have this thing behind the back of their brain. And the bank goes to my grandma, a pain, pure labor right, to me a labor right. And what they fail to understand, that they came to this land of wood and water by labor pain, not by the party color or the party pain. Herb Nelson Jr.
Look,
Mr. Nelson?
people are so they're so beaten down. COVID comes, and they're told to stay home. They're being They're being put into a situation that is just, then you suddenly call elections and you let them out. The ones wearing orange, you start flashing cash at them and giving them their offer to them. And the people fall over that because they were hungry, they were broke, they had no place. We have two-party system, and the two-party system has been using the lure over the years, and they've been doing different people. Politicians under the Constitution only have to show up once. So we have this ingrained methodology of handling our constituents over the last 61 years that we've been doing this. And that has to change. If I believe what Dr. Gordon said, is that these qualified candidates, social media like this, and if they speak true to campaign in that constituency, and even set up a home in that constituency, can win those people over, because they're going to feel the pain that those people are feeling, and then they and organize folks in a way, not just for the present, but to take them in. A lot of people out there starving. A lot of people out there have no hope for jobs and stuff like that. Why? Old school system that has failed them. And when they come maybe one or two passes, and they don't have anywhere to go or any training that is forthcoming. How are they going to compete with those people? The 5 CXCs are the ones with A levels that they have to compete with. They can't.
Hold on for me, sir. Yes, hold on for me, Mr. Nelson. You hearing me? Are you all hearing me?
Yes,
we're hearing
you. I'm seeing here.
We are coming in choppy. We're breaking.
Yes, because we
You know,
who are not talking need to mute their mics. When we're not talking to mute our mics, and I think that is why we're coming in choppy. Let us go back to the whole conversation that we brought Dr. Garden here. Based on that conversation that Nigel Clarke had with Dr. Garden, Luke George Cook and Herb Nelson Jr. and Dr. Garden, do you believe that Dr. Nigel Clarke is fed up? Or Dr. Nigel Clarke, well, they're not fed up. You believe that Dr. Nigel Clarke is hiding a lot of things about the SSL? What is going on in SSL? Dr. Garden?
Based on the conversation I had with him, it obviously proved that he's hiding something, and there is a bigger entity behind him. It also proves that I believe that because he heard, I believe one of the time I really got to, and that's again because he's a politician, and Andrew plays. You have to understand, Andrew go around. You notice Andrew have only young, soft-looking gentlemen around him, where he assists them. They assist them in school, and they are educated, and they're well spoken, but they're also vulnerable. And Andrew is pushing because to the public, everybody can see that Andrew using bad man thing to run the country. A bad man is him. So if the public can see that, imagine those that is around him when the cameras are not on, how he deal with them. So they are under a control cult. Now, I believe when Nigel says they pick them specifically, and Andrew picked them specifically and put them in position because of how they were taught and trained, so they can manipulate and come around people. Because as much as I want to say I think I get to him one at a time, I can't honestly say I got to him, because in the time when I think I got to him, he was there trying to investigate to see who I am, trying to put me on a video call, think I was scared.
Who? You mean Dr. Clarke?
Dr. Clarke, yeah, even in those time when he was sounding like he was concerned, and he's saying, Dr. Gordon, I hear you, and I really would like, I really want to stand for the people. And that was all just that talk was just all bullshit, because when he's finished saying all that, and I said to him, Dr. Clarke, I don't know if this is a pretense, but I hear some form of sincerity and genuinity in your voice. I don't know if it's a pretend, but, and right away he said, yes, because that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to get you on the camera to let you look in my eyes and see. No, that's right there. And I'm like, oh no, that's bullshit, because he was saying the reason why he wanted to get me on the camera was to show me screen. And I know he don't have no screen where it was. To show me screen of stuff where he's putting in place to get the investigation going. But then he said all these things are public knowledge. And I said, okay, so if they're public knowledge, that means to say I've already seen them. Why is it I need to come on a camera for you to see? Oh, and then I said to him, Dr. Clarke, do you believe that Jamaica is going in the right direction? And without thinking, he said, yes. No, I know right then, no, you're full of bullshit. Because if you're really for the people and you're genuine and you say you really mean something, and I'm there saying to you, Dr. Clarke, come on, oh, you hear, I'm crying out on their behalf of the people. This is what the people of Jamaica is saying. They're crying. Go and recant that statement if you mean the people any good. I even go as far as say to him, listen, it seems highly likely that the People's National Party may take power. And are you a member of parliament? And he said, yes. I said, let me tell you something. And because I was looking at all the money and the pay that each member of parliament are gonna get. So even if they lose, I'm crying out to him and said, listen, Dr. Nigel Clarke, right now people don't believe that you have a heart. You need to step out from amongst those and step out for the people and do something, because if the PNP party should win the next election, you want to make sure that you do something for your constituency so you can remain member of parliament. And even with all of that cry and talk to him, and he said, yes, I hear you genuinely speaking and stuff. But then he's going to say the country's going in the right direction. How can the country be going in the right direction? Just a sec. How can the country be going in the right direction when the hospital, if your mom's sick or you have some family member sick and you go to the hospital, you have to bring a sheet. What our taxpayers, if you don't have a sheet, you sleep on the empty mattress. If you get a mattress to sleep on, you may sit up in a chair or in a wheelchair or on the floor. The public hospital on numerous occasions, lights gone. There's no generator to back it up. How can you have a public hospital that take care of the health of the citizens of the country that paying the taxpayers money? And it showed that there is a lot of taxpayers dollars there, because you get yourself a pay raise of 300%. So instead of taking that 300% raise put in your pocket, why not put sheets, bed linen on the hospital? Why not get, why is it kids that go into school are required to bring toilet tissue in their bag? Why is it that the taxpayers' dollars not putting in tissue, sanitary stuff in the school? Why is it that a young girl going to school, if she don't have sanitary, a little girl's sometime at 8, 9 years old, they start seeing the period. It's a first time experience. It's scary. They don't know what to expect, especially if they're in a home that the parents not talking to them about these things. Now a little child, 8, 9-year-old, a little girl, imagine, starts her period and stuff. And she don't know, she can't go to a guidance counselor for a sanitary pad. You're supposed to pack these things in your bag and bring them. What our taxpayers' dollars is doing. And these are the things that we need to point out and put out to people so people can understand. The Jubilee Hospital or maternity ward, you go and look on that, how it stay. Our roads, when the JLP party just came in, I used to talk so highly about the road and stuff, but then the rain came and you realize it was all a fraud, because they don't dig no drainage for the water to go into the gully and go into the sea. So it just barber green and lift off. How can the country be going in our good right direction? Not only that, everything has been selling out. And don't come tell me, people, that PNP has been selling it out, because I'm not here for the PNP either. I don't think Mark Golan is ready. Honestly, I don't think Mark Golan is ready either. So it's not a matter about the PNP or the JP. We're talking about the country and the betterment of the country, and what can we as a people do instead of repeating the same things. So we are dieted and there's only two parties. Try to do something different to better off, because if it's not for us, then our generation to come, because the country is not going in the right direction when the cockpit country is in the damage. The only natural resources what we have, they want to sell it out to the Chinese. How it's in the water, the port. How you have a country and you don't control the port. The Chinese control the port. So whatever come in and goes out is the port. The Chinese control the port. So you know what can happen? The fact that we lost control of our port. Well, let me explain what our port is. Our sea, the control of our water that surround. Jamaica is surrounded by land, by water, right? Now, if anything should happen, entity gonna enter from the water to come in. Anything should happen, that's where. And now we have no control of the port. The wharf is controlled by Chinese. How can the country's been going out? Guns River Falls sell out. How is it the country's going out in a right direction? The Chinese, them come here and have hotels. Okay, fine, they build the hotels. And then they're so bright enough. It reached such a point that the Chinese is now telling that after they build hotels in our island, Jamaica, they are telling us that, no black people can come in the hotel. How is that possible? I remember when I was a kid growing up in the 80s, there was a thing coming out where the patties, some of the patty, I ate some of those patty, the patties that it was making, it has a different taste, and people were saying that dog. And when the Jamaican people find out that it was the Chinese that was taking dog and put it in patty, majority of them had was to flee Jamaica. Now I'm seeing people video recording of Chinese citizen that live in Jamaica killing a dog, and they're recording it, and they're saying, "Oh, this is how they how Jamaica, how we come to such,
You know,
how we come to such thing."
you know something, Dr. Garden, and I'm going to let Luke George come in because I know he wants to say something, and also Herb Nelson. You know something? My grandfather, God bless his soul, gave me tell me a story that in the 1950s, when Jamaicans, either in the 1950s or 1960s, I remember, when Jamaicans had enough, maybe Herb Nelson can tell us more about this if he knows about it. When Jamaicans had enough of what is going on with the Chinese.
For those who don't know, over 2,000 teachers resigned and left the country.
Hold on there for me.
Going in the right direction.
Hold on for me, Dr. Garden. And the Jamaicans decided they had enough of the Chinese. You know what they start do? And I'm not telling them what to do it, you know. They start burn from downtown, not in burn, burn from downtown Kingston. And I'm going to say this and have Luke George come in. The Jamaican people back is against the wall for far too long. And if Michael Andrew Holness believe that the Jamaican people are going to just sit down and accept it, and nothing is being done, I'm not inciting any riot or anything like that, but the time is going to come when the spirit of Nanny of the Maroon, the spirit of Paul Bogle, the spirit of Shamshar is going to rise up in the people, and they're going to say enough is enough. Luke George Cook, then Herb Nelson.
Before they come in, people, Jamaica, the island Jamaica, that beautiful island Jamaica, where people are with little but with talawa. It seems like all that left in Jamaica is just little people, no more talawa people. Not there. That word talawa, we come from where we stand up for what to believe in, and we fight, and we don't take foolishness. That's Jamaica. We have to fight for what that country, because we're gonna feel it. No, we spoke about this. The host spoke about Paul Bogle, the spirit of our heroes. Now, imagine they come at the cockpit country when they dig up that and stuff, and any flood, the landslide and flooding, and the flooding, and we start tsunami start, because they come in and they weakening the foundation of Jamaica. Weakening the foundation of Jamaica, and they're gonna continue doing so, because guess what? The Chinese have the way and know how. If and when they damage Jamaica, damage the foundation where water take over the island, they're gonna come and miraculous said, "Oh, guess what? We know the way how we can build the country above water where it won't have any flooding," and so on and so forth. And the people, we have to protect Jamaica. And what's going on? Oh my God! It's the years ago. A lot of us here maybe not know Renita Adams, but go on Google Renita Adams mentioned that Jamaica was going to suffer, and we are seeing it right now.
Yes. Hold on for me, Doc. Luke, come in. Because what the doc has given some important points a while ago. Luke George Cook, then Herb Nelson Jr.
No, look, one of the things that I said to you before, Jeffrey, I am not somebody who really talk about things and there's no action. Doc says that there are people who should put up themselves a candidate. Politics is a very difficult sport. It requires blood, sweat, and tears. And if people are out there who are prepared to put themselves up, as candidate, then we should be prepared to support those people and their campaign. You can, with all good intention, you can become absolutely poor tomorrow. And from my where I'm sitting as a social worker, um, I'm oftentimes criticized by my colleagues because I recognize that the challenge when I was in the government working and the challenge that I have now that I'm outside of the government working is that there is a scarcity of resources to support people in Jamaica with good intention. But secondly, not only to support those people with good intention, but to look at the safety of those people who Herb Nelson wants to serve. Because one of the things that I know very well about the two diatribes is that they will come after you and they will make you suffer. On the note of the Chinese, we need to have a comprehensive study done on what the Chinese is. You hear people keep on saying that some of these are Chinese soldiers and there are those that the others are prisoners, and that what we're seeing is an invasion of the Chinese population. Now, I do not want people to start going out there and beating Chinese, but I agree with that I've seen some video coming out of the Chinese being very abrasive to the Jamaican people who conduct business in their establishment. Recently, I saw a video where a Jamaican had to slap a Chinese woman and tell her that she don't come here to our country and speak to us about that. Stockholm Syndrome has stepped in, Jeffrey, because of the assault on people. Doc clearly defined it earlier on, that people who stand up and speak about the administration and are very expressive of the natural justice that we want, that people want. It's not happening. Every time you get up to raise your voice, you suffer. Them send police and them humiliate you, but yet still nobody has gone in to humiliate the SSL people for robbing their clients of their money and defrauding those people out of what they have worked so hard for. In terms of our infrastructure, there is no arguments there that our hospital needs equipment. The staff oftentimes complain about they're being overworked, underpaid, and there are staff there that needs to go because they don't really carry themselves in a professional manner, and they themselves also are abusive to their fellow Jamaicans. And as Doc says this, Jeffrey, it is against the backdrop that you look, if Nigel Clarke says to Dr. Gordon, the country is heading in the right direction, why is it then, if we're heading in the right direction, there is an assault on education that a high school student has to dole out $40,000 to $50,000 to buy books, and a university student has to buy a book that is costing him or her $25,000? Is that a country moving in the right direction when education is far being removed from the people?
3-year-old, just as a 3-year-old have to take 32 books to school.
Mm.
Right.
The world class Minister of Finance, along with the Minister of Misinformation, so the country is going in the right direction. Don't call it out.
No, but again, in Doc says Nigel sound contract, and I'm saying Herb Nelson. Nigel Clarke don't have to be in government, because if Nigel Clarke had gone to the private sector, he would have been taking home what he's taking home more, or far more, because here is a world-class scholar. I believe we give ourselves to the things that are easy and they give us the returns that we're looking forward. And as I believe with my whole heart that Nigel really wants to be the next prime minister, and they will broke this country, Herb Nelson, they will broke this country by whatever means. But outside of that, Doc, all of this is taking place. You don't see the bar association on and a the human right groups, Jamaicans for Justice.
Because they're all control.
Yeah, but at the same time, you just tell me the law of attraction. We need to now project what it is that we want to see, and we must now put that out there in the visioning board that we are powerful that than measure. Because you're basically saying to me, I need to lose the fear. I need to lose the fear of being persecuted and probably will be taken away like
We are more
forbid mother.
in numbers. We are more in
Right?
numbers.
And I tell you the truth, I'm taking your words. We say these things, but when it comes to the cohesiveness that needs to be there, everybody
Action.
seems to say, yeah, the actions don't follow, or the more in numbers. Because, all right, say tomorrow morning, for instance, I write the same article, and I'd love to see your article, and I'd like to be able to listen in depth to the conversation that you had with the minister. But I have criticized this minister of being far too educated and not understanding. And what this minister carefully did, Dr. Gordon, was to, long before the politicians got their increase, Dr. Gordon, they had increased the judge's salary, and we never said anything. Then they increased theirs. But while they were increasing, look how they package it. And I'm glad you talk about we must be always mindful of how the packaging are being done, because they increased minimum wage to 17,000. So the people will say, oh God, the Jamaica Labour Party love poor people. They increased and started to listen to the discussion about treating the security guards better. But what they did not do, they did not increase those critical players that are needed. And as you have said, it's 2,000, and there are far much more resignation from our civil servant on the desk of their supervisor, that by the time we get to December, we really will have to go back for the retired people and put them back in the classroom, because we won't have anybody here. But the country, we're told, is heading in the right direction. So SSL, among other things, is what we need to discuss. How do we now galvanize the energy of the Jamaican people, Jermaine Gordon, to take a proper argument to the government and possibly take them before the courts to say that they have not fulfilled the mandate of their job, and hence we wanted to have them removed from office. How do we remove a DPP from office, Jermaine, a Minister of Finance, a Governor General, and a Prime Minister?
Let me tell you.
Hold on for me, Dr. Gordon.
Before I forget. To answer the question here, we can start by doing a petition, getting names signed, because word of mouth don't work with the law. Talking don't work with the law, black and white. So how about we start a petition, and we're gonna put it around, send it around as much as we can, get as much signature signed to it, and then we send it in to the Speaker of the House. Now, with all these citizens, voters' signature on it, it's something now that's in high demand. We need to start the black and white. They used to us talking. They used to us just talking over the weekend. They love do this. Anything that's gonna make a big spam, they do it on Friday. So we talk about it on the weekend, and by Monday, everybody forget about it. It's total something different, or they derail us with something else different. Like this big thing came out now with the Labour Party, and not just the Labour Party because of the People's National Party for talk about, but it's just, just segment. But if you notice right away, they jump on this thing with the chain and trying to derail the converse, trying to derail people focus. But we need to stop just talking and start putting our words in pen and paper on black and white by ways of we starting a petition. What the petition is, we want instant resignation of the Prime Minister, and we're gonna list the reason why, and so on and so forth, and then we put it out, and the signatures of all the citizens go around. We share it, and then we send it in with black and white documents. That's a start.
Hold on, Luke. Let me get her in.
One of the things that I've seen in different countries, and I've been around the world quite a bit, reminders that came to me when I was in Chile back in 2019. I organizing because the cost of living had gone through the roof, the tuition costs, and the people could not afford the cost of living. Shown leadership in organizing and in educating them to the causes, various causes, right? In every country you go to, the universities are the ones that analyze what's going on with government.
But
analyze what's going on with the corruption.
But Herb,
call out individuals. Yeah.
But Herb, the University of the West Indies, and I apologize about, the late Wilmot Perkins said something a long time ago, and Jamaicans were upset with him. The university get off the West Indies. Don't be surprised if they don't buy out like how the Labour Party buy out media houses in Jamaica. Because back in the days in the 1990s, when the gas riot started in Jamaica, who started the gas riot in the country? The University of the West Indies students did. And I demand PJ Patterson to speak to them. So don't be surprised. Why is the University of the West Indies and UTech students are quiet? It has never happened in the history of Jamaica. So many things going on, and they're quiet.
Yeah, they're seeing. There's the one person who has impacted them was when the current Prime Minister was the Minister of Education. He came in and put a stop to that micromanagement program. Free education is up to, I think, grade 6. Everything after that, if you don't win a scholarship, you start paying your way to school. And we know the masses of people homes to be able to pay their way through school, to include the technical, you talk about Hard Foundation, as cheap as that is. Can you imagine become a mechanic? You can learn through the Hard Foundation, the Jamaica German program. Those people earn up to 100 here in the US. Yeah. And if folks were smart, if Jamaica were smart, they could market these programs to the children a special rate to come down and learn the various. They would come back to the US with a skill set because they have the vision. They would have graduated school in most cases. But you know, we all areas where we're missing out. We don't have the leaders in the communities, and we don't have the leaders in government coming out of PSOJ. We have a lot of people that do a lot of talking, come up with different presented over 7 years ago. They're looking back at everything the diaspora brought now, and they're presenting it. They still don't have the leadership that requires accountability and transparency in investigations. We Jamaica has this culture, and Luke, you know this, fundament about how this have happened.
Luke?
And then after 9 days, what happens? The business as if it never happened. The diaspora has been trying to key in on these. That's why we now have One Jamaica Legal Defense Fund. And with that fund, with third arm of government to enforce them to enforce certain laws. And when they try to ignore the things like government ministers not paying taxes that they're receiving on the side, and we do the investigation and we go after them and force them to pay taxes, because the more people that you have paying taxes, especially that's a lot more money for government to be able to spend on programs badly needed to support. None of what we see happening right now,
Luke?
is in an organized fashion. There's a lot of disorganized programs, ineffective programs, because we just don't have the leadership. But nobody wants you out there, because you're going to discover the truth about what's really going on. You're going to hear who's shaving the
You
beard.
must remember, say them blacklist. You must remember them blacklist me when we did.
That's why they don't want.
Yeah, remember, say them blacklist me, you know. Remember that I'm blacklisted in Jamaica. I was supposed to get a job at one of these fields. I'm supposed to get a job at one of these famous government agents. It turns up for the job, did the interview, the 2 round of interview, was a good candidate, only to find out a man pulled me to the side and say, boy, the people them love what you offer, we know, but them say you're too passionate and you're not a team player. I don't know what kind of team I could have played for. I don't even know the people them. I only said that I will not take poor people's money and enrich myself, and I will not be afraid to say or call out anybody who does it, and that is just my personal stand. In Jamaica, you become persona non grata for wanting to have integrity. This is why I find that when Dr. Gordon asked Nigel, I could not become a member or run for a seat in the People's National Party or the Jamaica Labour Party, because to me they are one and the same. And I have criticized both, yet still in some circles, some people say I am Labour right, and in other people say I'm PMP. And there is, to me, I am not going to buy into this argument, the less of the evil. What I would love to see, Dr. All of us, the herb, including the listeners and the subscribers to this talk, Jeffrey, is to have a breakout session one night in how you effectively advocate for change. So Doc can present on something, then we look now on how we're going to do a petition and advocate, how we're going to encourage people to do sit out days. It's only a pity that for the sit out days, them are going to tell you, Lord God, my light bill, my water bill, my cable bill, my insurance have to pay. We should have been able to compensate them for the days that they sit out, because if Nigel comes up with a plan to say, we are going to punish you, we're going to punish you. Going back to something, Herb, that is very interesting to me. When this SSL thing came out and Nigel Clarke came out to speak, government all of a sudden was hiring an auditing firm to carry out an audit, and they took this sort of the lowest one that is listed on the auditing firm in the United Kingdom. However, they could have reached out to people like yourself, a Wilfred Rattigan, and since Dr. Gordon seems to have a lot of the inside scoop, an independent body now to come as a second tier of investigators to look at some of the other variables and to actually tender a report to say what it is there, so that at least in the mind of people, something what is being done and the people of Jamaica are going to get a payday. So two things. I am not about the whole thing about talking, but I'm about action. If we can start an advocacy network, we're going to start it with a petition, and that is complementary of the one legal fund, where the petition must says that we can list all of the acts of corruption that have been committed as an atrocity against the Jamaican people under the current administration, and we're asking that a removal, and then we can align Herb to those items that can be prosecuted, where we can see that there has been a clear breach of government responsibility to ensure that we keep them accountable. I believe that once the One Jamaica Legal Fund wins a case against the government on behalf of the people, it is going to return some confidence and some of the cowardness that we now experience. I mean, if you did have 10 more Jermaine Garden, but you see, Jermaine also is special in that regard because he has sat in the parlors of the demons and the devil, and yet still it didn't faze him. It never looked like him did want more than what he worked for. But if we don't do this, Herb Nelson, in addition to something that I heard Dr. Gordon said, was that we need to have an article going out every week. We need to find a YouTube channel to send out our messages through sound bites, and if Jamaica is to win, then we the people need to be doing this. We need to keep up a steady campaigning that is not going to be, we don't have to come up with a large budget, but just the passion of every Jamaican on the platform, and just sending out positive message and really re-engaging the minds of the Jamaican people. There's a lot that can be done. I mean, I'm the only one sitting on this panel who still resides in Jamaica, and both all the members of the Jamaica Labour Party and the PMP tend to know who I am and where I live. So, to be making...
Luke, let me tell you something. Dr. Gordon, you're going to come in next. Let me tell you something, Luke George. The God that we serve, the Almighty God that we serve, no powers in hell and no weapon that form against you shall prosper. So I'm not going to come. They have ever talked to how many want Senate seat, and because they don't get the Senate seat, I think it was against the Labour Party. I think it was against the Labour Party. Because Andrew give me the Senate seat that I'm supposed to get. Or Buster, or Bruce, or Papa Eddie.
Sangster.
And Donald Sangster. So that is why I'm hitting out so hard.
and for tell you the truth, Herb, the students at the university has lost the vim, the vitality, and the vigor. I don't know when Bob's Grade said we need to reignite in our people. I believe that it is us who have to be the voice of change, and we have to go reignite. And so, as I said, I love for us to form this into an action. So we start off with Doc, and we can do we can do the assignment. If Doc can say what the petition is. Andrea, every minute you want to put me up. Me soon come, Andrea. Me soon come. If Doc can do the petition, by the way, them can't take my passport, Andrea. So you have to go hurry up and put me up so me get 1 second passport. If Doc can do the petition and we look at the whole thing of becoming an advocacy network, identifying at all aspects and in every area the ills that have been carried out by all the political parties and bad players in Jamaica. And it's time people stop hug them up. It's time that we don't listen to them. I do not go to political rallies so willingly again, because it's the same thing from the stage. I listened to Mr. Golin's conference on Sunday, and I always say, Mark is mild-mannered. I don't have nothing against him as a person. I don't think he is a career politician. Like how I think Nigel should have been a politician. But you need to do better for the people of Jamaica. They are suffering. And empty promises from the stage that does not result into anything, but in the next 5 years, you pick them back up and use them. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on anybody who have taken disadvantage of the position of
Luke
leadership.
George Cook, Dr. Gardner come in next, but Luke George Cook, let me say something too. The Jamaican people have been swapping black dog for monkey from 1932 until now.
Doctor, we must speak positive. White collar, black collar crime to white collar crime.
Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec.
Go ahead.
While I am in agreement with most of the things the gentleman just said, no.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I don't believe that in order for us to want change, everybody got to put in the way we're gonna put in, because I realize, and we can't say, I'm looking at some of the comments and we see people saying we make excuse a lot, like we are understand for murder. We find more excuse than solution, and we tend to make excuses for things. Now, let me point out some stuff to you guys. If we want a better Jamaica, each and every one of us have to chip in. How we gonna chip in? I hear Luke said, in case we said, like for instance, we have an island-wide strike out, we should able to repay. I think that's bullshit, because if we are repaying, that's just like SSL workers, we are repaying them. We are all affected and we must all sacrifice for a better cause. Because Chris Brown went to Jamaica and you all didn't care about the price, what it costs. You sacrificed and went to Chris Brown party. We sacrifice.
No, Doc. That's not. No, Doc. No, Doc. No, Doc. No, Doc. Let us have a. No, Doc. No, not everybody went to Chris Brown. Not everybody went to Chris Brown, and there are many of us who would never take our money and go to Chris Brown.
Listen to me. Please respect. When you were speaking, you notice I put my hand up and I wait patiently. I didn't disrupt you. If you have something to say, I would appreciate you give me the same respect and wait till I'm finished. Then you put your point across. Don't make it be a confusion like we are here arguing. Then if we can't control ourselves, then we can look for us as leader for the people them to have control. Now, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying when we speak, we're not speaking of everybody. Not everybody went to Chris Brown party, but okay. For instance, majority of Jamaicans are not working. So if we should go on an island-wide strike out, we don't need to repay most of Jamaicans. And then guess what? We are all benefiting from it, so we can sacrifice our pitney, our kids, our grandchildren. We want a better country for us. So if everybody sacrifice and say, oh, we are faster one day, island-wide, it benefits, show the country, they show the government that, okay, we're not just about talk, we're doing something. One day, just start for one day. All it take one day. And then guess what? You have some people, all it take for one day. Then you have some people may say, oh no, may I got 2 days. 2 days. We just have to start somewhere, but we can't look for repayment every time we do something for the better of our country.
I think you need to understand one of the reasons why many people in the job fair are fearful, and I'm talking about those who are going to be the heaviest hit. I'm in agreement with you that we need to have people stand up for their rights, but in doing that, we have to take into consideration we're all coming from different places, and people will use what they, especially those who are benefiting from the criminality in Jamaica, will use whatever leverage they will have to do that. And we have to understand that there are people currently, like tomorrow I'll be going to sit in as a support for somebody who has taken on a big company for standing up against some of their principles, and have lost almost 3 months of work without pay. And her children are suffering. So I'm taking it from the backdrop that yes, there is a passion, and there are those of us who may be at your or mine ilk that can carry the loss of a job. But just think of how many people Dr. Gordon lost their low income pay when the minister made that announcement about an increase in salaries for minimum wage earner, that people in the upper echelon of society were saying they can't they can't pay them. So we have to be cognizant of the fact that when we ask people to make the sacrifice, there are people who are going to suffer as a result of that, and we have to be willing to take the decision to compensate them if we're going to be the voice of change. And I'm not backing down from that. That's your opinion, and I respect that. But you have to agree that
yeah, but we suffer.
Not everybody can. Not everybody. But no, I am not going to ask a man to sacrifice his job because he's standing up for a country. If he and his children are going to be suffering without giving any consideration to his social and economic condition, that will put him at a further disadvantage, and to believe in a greater cause than himself because you and I are at a place of comfort. I'm not going to do that. No arguments there. You don't feel that they have to do it. That's a decision for them. But me, on the other hand, I have to make sure that I look after those people, because I don't want to turn around and ask them to make the sacrifice like a politician, but don't compensate them when they suffer further.
You believe if we strike out for one...
You can call me Luke, Doc.
Luke.
Because usually when people call me Mr. Cook, it means them annoyed at me. So just say Luke.
I don't mind that. Not tell me what people say.
Mr. And that me just do.
Hi. Okay. Come on.
No, it's him not mean. No, we know what jump. We know what we talk. That's how we talk and meant fun of it. We're not thinking mean anything about it.
Exactly.
And I don't take any offense to it. What I want. Okay. What I was gonna ask you, Luke. Do you think, honestly, if we say one, we're not talking about a week or 2-3 days. 1 day to make an example, you believe that would have to repay people for 1 day?
Doc, Doc, may I tell you? All I say, if people want to make the sacrifice, I am not against it. I believe that we should do it. But Doc, I am
You
telling you,
want to
the
have
reality
something
is
in
that
place.
yeah, well, have something in place to cushion them because everybody, Doc, you say it, you know. Everybody who has ever spoken out against them, that them come after them like chichi,
All right, hold on. Let me show.
they will make
Look,
your life a living hell.
look at this. Look.
And we're not going to change it overnight. So we have to make sure that we, the people, operate with a conscience that if you suffer for the cause, we will support you until we get the thing right.
Well,
I'm not start a political party, I'm not start dependency, but we have to recognize that we're asking people to stand up against the evil of the day. And it has never been easy. You know that from time to time memorial. It's never going to be easy. Imagine a helper telling them work, the lady where them work for. Me not come in today, you know, because you not pay me nothing. I mean I suffer. I mean I stand up with them people.
Like, the thing is, Luke, it's not like it's 1 or 10 person doing it. This is something with island wide. Maybe you have 30 person out of the entire island.
And I'm saying we're going to do it, Doc. We're going to do it.
You see, if you have to understand, you know, if everybody come together and do it, there's nobody forget fire. Because it's a cause. We unite. When we unite, we stand. But if it's just few people, like for instance,
but you see, before we reach this, so I want me and you for understand it, because you see, you understand what you are here to bring. But let me tell you, it's not so easy in this place, you know, because you think when you say earlier on, people might not take you serious when you say earlier on, you know, the spiritual wickedness that is operating in high places, and what these people will do to you. Why you know this? Answer me this. Why you think them go off a Carla still and Cash Plus?
Because they wanted the money. They had a
no, because all of a sudden the four student upper university could have put in 200,000 and them get $130,000 check every month. Help us instead. Exactly. That was it. The helper and the employee were in the same line collecting dividends from Cash Plus. Cash Plus could have worked if the scheme was structured in a different way, and it would not be deemed as a Ponzi scheme, because you and me know that
many of them was benefiting from it too.
Gentlemen.
Exactly.
To them sister, too much poor people was getting onto it. That's why they stop it.
Okay. Argument done.
But as I said, somebody said the choice is for the people, and I like that. We put it out for the people, and if the people are willing to start, and I understand where Luke is coming from. Don't think I'm not in agreement with Luke in what he said, because I think he's saying we need to have a structure and financial backing for certain things. But me, when I'm starting, like I spoke with Mr. Tavares recently, and he asked me what was the cost. People always ask me this, what the cost to start a business? And I realize when people put a cost on it, they always try to scare you not to get in a business, because I can't put a cost on it. I just started. And I would encourage somebody, don't wait until, you get 5, 10,000. Just start little. You have something, you start and you turn over, and you get it, you turn over, and you turn over. Before you know it, you have more than enough for what you want to start to do. But don't always put like a price to say, if I don't have this, I'm waiting on this sum to start this. No, just start.
Gentlemen, well, let's get
exactly. Somebody asked, and Tavares, you must involve the people them to like I see what you do, put some of them comments out so they feel involved.
Because
somebody said, what happened when the money runs out? How do we go back to where we are now? That's the whole thing. It's not gonna be a long thing, because when they see they continue doing these things because they realize there's no action. We just talk for 2 days, we go on social media, we make nice, and then nothing behind it. There's no action. We need
but one part of the action, Jeffrey, not to start. I'm gonna give you back host privilege. But one of the things that you have to recognize that in this paradigm shift that we're talking about, that we have to identify people who want to run as independent. So the money can't run out. Those people are going to need resources to go out there and spread a message of Jamaica that has to be different. There is nothing that we're going to do that is not going to take the cash to care. And I am not pushing that we become an organization that is largely saying that your action must be based on the fact that we have cushioning money. No, your action must be based on the fact that you love this country and will do something for it. But in the same vein, I am pushing that we must not be asking people to do things. When you know Dr. Jermaine Gordon, you can get a job as Dr. Jermaine Gordon on any part of the planet of this world. Herb Nelson is now retired and is an elder spokesperson and is enjoying the little bit of him pension that him can. We should not ask people to make ultimate sacrifices. Like me saying as a Christian, prostitute must come off a back road, but me don't have nothing there to cushion them. Me not into that business.
Hold on.
Me always have to cushion
somebody
people.
just made a great important point. They lock us down for 3 weeks in COVID and we all survive. And we asking for 1 day? A start of
Jermaine, Gordon, don't get into the theatrics. I'm just simply saying, I am not going to be a part of a movement that does not consider what happened to people. I can speak from personal experience, not because they locked us down. We weren't surviving.
But to use
and people must get that out of their head.
To use the word to say not concern for people is a bit derogatory because it's the concern of people while we're here.
You see what you're doing now? I'm not getting to the semantics of these things. I'm basically saying that I as a person who have stand up in this country for what I believe and have fought for the benefit of poor people, I know what I endured and I know the pain that it cost me. So I am not, from personal experience, I'm speaking. I'm not getting onto the show with anybody who lives anywhere else and have not made that sacrifice. I know what it was when I left that high-paying job because I could not suffer to see what was happening to poor people. So I am not going to argue with anybody about how I feel when I said that no member on my team will suffer because I will always make a provision because I live in the real Jamaica and I don't know where other people are from. People will point you out. If you do a sitting, that's fine.
The people, we have to wrap up now. It's minutes to 10 o'clock. We all have work in the morning, so let us
let me say this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, with regard and the people in a firm understanding, it comes back to what I said earlier. The one person who doesn't have to worry about their stature are the students. Students getting monies paid for their. If they don't have to worry, they can do the heavy lifting.
So in other words,
they can lead some of these. Right. The organization is what's missing, because if there's an organized movement, I know that because they want to see change. They want to see positive change, and become leaders. Then the diaspora will definitely send the money. All right, diaspora who are very wealthy that can fund our entire movement. You just have to know without actually disclosing the information as to who they are and where they are. That want to see a better day in Jamaica, want to see accountability, want to see the transparency, want to see our young leaders come to the fore and not be led and so corrupt and so craven and disrespectful that they don't respect the puppies. And I heard that in Dr. Clarke's, because I could tell that he didn't like the situation he was in. He was feeling guilty whether or not he had something to wanted to talk. Then maybe you can on a private line revisit up or get somebody to
he left the conversation
talk to him in
open.
person and get him to open up, because he has a, he can
He
blow
left the conversation open and asked us to you would like to do an
government out
interview
to
with
the
us.
water. If he really okay, he to me right now his structure is on shaky ground and he doesn't like it. Can't help him to fix it. He'll do it.
Bear in mind that this same
But
Nigel Clarke watched them.
This man as
Wait the Luke. And Luke, I want to say something to you, Luke, and to the listeners.
what you were saying.
I want to say something to the listeners and to Luke. I think where I was coming from is because when we with Andre Stephen thing, for those who know and who don't know, it's Olankwan Fashion Boutique, the thing that you see here. Olankwan Fashion Boutique, a clothing line. That's the LLC that we had signed up with, because you know in America you have to go through IRS and all stuff, and we started the funding for the street feeding stuff. So when I was speaking of knowing that the diaspora will support, the funding will come in. But what I didn't want people to like get to where like, oh, we have this narrative where, and I know that yes, I'm not living in Jamaica, even though I have family and relatives in Jamaica. I have a son in Jamaica too. I don't want to say much about it because I want them to target him. But I understand where Luke is coming from, and I know that we would have to have a structure point of view, and I think we can do it if we come together and organize it. I know we'll get the backing of the diaspora and even around, for because people want a change. And we don't want to make it seems like we have an argument. That's how it go. We have this disagreement and agreement, and we talk and come to a solution. And I'm totally with what Luke is saying. I was just saying that I was just speaking of knowing that the funding, as Herb Nelson Jr. stated, that the diaspora will support. I know that will come in because people want a change, and people have been supporting other things. So I know that will come in, and I understand we have to have a structure and have to have support where we can help people financially in certain ways and certain things. But then again, we don't want people to take advantage, because we know we're people who we're dealing with. We can't go around that advantage of the situation and like utilize it to say, oh yes, I'm doing this, I can't manage this and so forth, because we all have to come together to make the sacrifice. Herb Nelson said something very keen about the kids. Now all of us parents will have to sit down in our home and talk to our kids. Let our kids know what's going on, because they will listen, and trust me, they will glad to do something like this. So we speak to our kids and let them know the necessity of what's going on in the country, and it's going in a wrong direction, and we need help. And you just talk to the student them will go and talk among them friends, and they will quick to do it, and it just take the start right there. We're also gonna definitely Luke and Mr. Nelson, we're gonna exchange numbers. We would definitely want to continue this like on maybe a weekly basis. where we can give updates on what's going on, transparency. We have to show a difference and help people to show that, yes, they are not alone.
As we're going to end the program tonight, it has been a great discussion. And as what Luke George Cook always say, let us not come on this platform, the Make We Talk platform, and just chat according to the Secretary General of the Commonwealth. As what Dr. Gardner is saying, we're going to do things and come back and give update to the people. Dr. Garden, I know you run a radio station and everything, and I know you have your own YouTube channel. But I invite you to let Make We Talk be your home also. Because we need people like you. We need people like a Herb Nelson Jr., a Dr. Jermaine Garden, a Luke George Cook. Luke is already a family over here, just like Sir Herb. To really stand up and speak out for the fundamental rights of the Jamaican people. The people who we love. And the time for us as Jamaicans to put country above party. Because the country that we so love is bleeding from within. The country that we hear around the world, the people talking about our reggae music, our athletes and Miss Lou and Mass Run and Robert Nesta Marley, not a Robert Nesta Morgan, a Robert Nesta Marley, a Bob Marley. You know, this is the country that we must say to ourselves, we can leave a country in safe hands, a country for our children. Because if we have a 2030 vision, and we keep on asking ourselves, do we see this country going to a 2030 vision? Where do we see this country going? What sort of Jamaica are we going to leave for our children? Those are the questions that's been asked. And if you have a Minister of Finance, along with a Prime Minister, who is saying that the country is going in the right direction, when everybody else is seeing that the country is going in the wrong direction, then the time has come for us, the host of Make We Talk, a Dr. Jermaine Garden, a Herb Nelson Jr., a Luke George Cook, to stand up and say we have to do something to help the rock that we so love. Dr. Garden, I'm gonna your wrap-up word, your final words on this conversation here on this platform before we go. Then I go to Herb Nelson and my good friend Luke George Cook. Go ahead.
I understand that people are scared and worried, but scare is of the enemy, and that is what they put onto us, fear. So they can, once they put fear onto us, they have us cramp. We have to come out and be brave and bold and stand up, get up, stand up for our rights, stand up for what we believe in, stand up for our cause. Unite. Let's not say, oh, we're scared of this and we're scared of that. What we're scared of, the most thing we should be scared of, losing Jamaica in the hands of the Chinese government. And that's where it's going.
So Nelson?
And I just,
it's always good to have out.
Sorry, Mr. Nelson. Sorry, Mr. Nelson, just one more thing to add. I see people have been saying after this talk, we're supposed to put action. You notice I have my phone in my hand right away. I'm starting the petition because I'm about action. Go ahead, Mr. Nelson.
Yeah. It's always good to have a plan of action that we can say to Dr. Gordon. Luke already knows, and you already know, Jeffrey, that our major plan of Jamaica Legal Defense Fund. And we have already said that in addition to going through the court system to fight some of the corruption that's going on, we that will assist the community or members of the community in identifying patterns of that they can engage in and get as their respective communities. In other words, if you have a program that works and you will help with the spreading to the different communities, and will help with educating the various communities around to get our program fully underway, and once forward to help different programs or different projects of positivity to communities. That's what we intend to do. And so I'm here, Dr. Gordon, and these two guys, Jeffrey.
I just want to say,
Luke, know very well. Yeah.
I just want to say, ask the listeners.
Go ahead.
Remember, OBC Radio of a radio station. It's called OBC Radio. The app is available in the App Store. If you have an iPhone, which has an iOS device, you can go in your App Store and type in OBC space radio. It's 2-word OBC Radio, and download the app. If you have a Samsung phone, you can go in the Play Store and type in OBC Radio and download the app. For those who have an Alexa device, can ask Alexa, play OBC Radio, and OBC Radio will be played. For those of you who have a phone and it's already full and don't have any space, and you want to tune into the radio station, don't be afraid to contact 1-347-818-7604. That's 1-347-818-7604. And or contact we on our Instagram, social media, any social media platform. It's OBC Radio on all social media platforms: Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Send us a message and ask for the link, and we'll give you the link.
Luke, George,
and I really appreciate Jeffrey Tavares having me on this program, and I really feel, I mean, it's going 3 hours, and I really feel like we get somewhere, and we're gonna get this ball going.
Luke?
Yeah, Jeffrey. Somebody text me and asked me. I think Doc is a PhD. I don't think Doc, you're a medical. He's a PhD. To the person who is texting me to he's a PhD. He holds a PhD.
I am a medical doctor doing a Mr. Cook. Go ahead.
Sure, but look, this I believe everything that we are hoping to achieve is possible, because the good thing is that, there's a saying, evil is pervasive because good men and women do nothing about it. We come on this program because we believe in Jamaica. We believe Jamaica has the greatest capacity to serve its people and to do so. The despots who have robbed us and have kept us back from development are scared because a Dr. Gordon, a Herb Nelson, a Jeffrey Tavares, along with the listeners of this program and other program, are interested and are willing to make a sacrifice for the betterment of this country. And that puts us in a good position. That puts us in the driver's seat. I would also like to thank people like, my friend Freedom, who supported recently our book drive. I turned up for an orientation at the Excelsior High School recently and watched them putting out students because of shoes they were wearing, and children who are going back to school for this new school term being put out of school because their uniform did not meet the required standard of the school, and that they were tailoring this thought that the children were wearing the right uniform, that they are not following the rules and the regulation, not taking into account that sometimes that these children are coming from some real disadvantaged circumstances. And I allow my voice to be heard. I didn't walk away. But one of the things that I recognized, that I couldn't have left that day without supporting the people who were being told that their children were coming back can't come back to school on Monday. I didn't feel like I could just say to the administration it was an unreasonable position. But I had to go in and raise my concern and to support those kids to get the right uniform, buy shoes so that they could to get shoes. And I thank Freedom for supporting the kids who got books, because when I looked at it and thought that if we were to really have a vision 2030 and realize it without giving the young people of our country the opportunity to have a better education, and with the hope that they will make better choices, and that we will see the day when people have to become a member of a party because that's how they feel that they can be accounted for or participate in something because it gives them something. It's to change that mindset that we all have the ability to achieve and to nurture and to be able to be counted and feel like a worthwhile Jamaican. And I have to just support those things, because if Jamaica in 20 years from now, gentlemen on the panel, is going to become the Jamaica that we want it to be, and we're going to see it in our lifetime that Jamaica is going to change, it is going to take action, and the actions of good people who love this country and is willing to put self above gains. And I encourage everybody to continue to keep up the fight wherever you are. I know that in the discussion with Freedom, I don't know who she is or who he is. I don't know who the person is. I said to her, I'm not going to fall to the narrative that every Jamaican have an ulterior motive. There are those of us who just love this place. It's such a unique place. It has so much potential. And I'm happy that in this divine intervention that I and so many other wonderful Jamaicans have this opportunity to say, we are not going to sit down and allow the few to destroy what our founding fathers have worked for. The sacrifice the men and women before us have made for this Jamaica to reach where it is, and the work needs to continue. The work continues, and it requires a lot of commitment from everybody everywhere who love Jamaica. And I want to applaud and salute all of you, both on the panel and in the listening audience, for the commitment and the unwavering support that you have given to Jamaicans who are struggling, to help them to break the twin scourge of poverty that oftentimes is tied to crime, and that we just have to continue to as Doc would say, continue to just be the change that we want to see, and continue to show that we have the compassion and the contrition to reach down and give our fellow men a hand up, just running around trying to get books from one bookstore to put in the hands of kids now, trying to arrange homework programs and mentorship programs, trying to find positive adults who can impart to these kids. It's a challenge. It is one that I'm committed to, and I am going to stick to that. That's my contribution, that everybody who gives a hand is not a handout, but a hand up to helping you to fulfill your greatest possibility. And by doing so, you will now return to being our brother's keeper. It is possible, and I am not going to give up on that message of change. It is within all of us to be the eternal optimist, and it is within all of us to play our part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. And I just say, guys, thank you for having me. I look forward to the work that we're doing, and I know that it continues. Oh, freedom! This was a bag. Freedom. This was a bag of books that I got today, and for dissemination for tomorrow. And every day from last week to this week, I've been in the bookstores. It is an eye opener. When I used to go to school, I inherited the books from my brothers and sisters. Nowadays, these capitalists have made it impossible for that sort of exchange to take place. But education is still, by and large, the vehicle to success, and that is why I'm championing that cause.
Thank you.
I want to say something to each and every one of us here. What we can start doing tonight. Each person that's on the platform, you all have a social media platform. Let us start making some flyers and article and send out, posting on your social media in support of what's going on now, so people can see it and share it and tag us in it. Tag Make We Talk and tag OBC Radio. Also share and subscribe to Make We Talk on both OBC Radio platform, and tell a friend to tell a friend, because millions of people looking for change. Let we unite and do it.
Yes. And as we say goodbye from this platform tonight, let us remember our Jamaican brothers and sisters who may not have a good night dinner. Let's remember them in our prayers. Let's also remember our black brothers and sisters in our sister island, Haiti. Let us pray for them and ask God in His tender mercies to guide them and protect them. And my final word on this program tonight, for all Jamaicans, both home and abroad, the time has come for us as Jamaicans to rally around a single cause and a single purpose. A cause in which the Jamaican people are asking us to stand up and fight. As our national anthem said, Eternal Father, bless our land. Guide us with thy mighty hand and keep us free from evil powers. May we as a people who love this great nation of ours, may we stand up and fight for the land that we so love. And may we stand up and call a spade a spade. And may we stand up and say to ourselves, we are Jamaicans. We are not PNP or JLP. We are Jamaicans, and we will remain Jamaicans. So I say to you all tonight, for all those whose cares has been our concern, the work goes on, the cause endure, and the hope still lives, and the dream for a better Jamaica shall never die. May God bless you. May God bless Jamaica land we love. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Make We Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. I want to say thanks to my guest, Dr. Jermaine Garden from OBC Radio, to Herb Nelson Jr., to my brother and friend, Luke George Cook. Mr. Nelson has been a part of the Make We Talk program for a long time. And I must lift my hat to Mr. Nelson. He's tired, but he still comes on. He does his chores in the sense of helping out. Mr. Nelson, what I'm talking about. I don't have to go into details with this. And I want to say thank you, sir. Thank you for encouraging words when I feel like giving up and forget all about this channel. You always say to me, no. The people need to hear your voice. And I dubbed myself as a poor people governor from day one. Because I know what it's like to go to my bed hungry. I may come from a family that has a name. That doesn't mean that I do not know what hunger is. That doesn't mean that I do not know what poverty is. I know what it is. And anything that I can do to help this nation of ours, I will. I will. And I will continue to speak for the betterment of this country. No guy, no girl cannot buy me out. And this is where I say so long to you all. Have a good night, everyone. May God bless you. Have a good night. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Good night, Dr. Gordon.
Jeffrey, remember to share the contacts.
Yes, I will. I will. Dr. Gordon, have a good night, everybody.
Night, night.
Night, night.
Night. Good night. Bless.
When the game gets rough and this life just seems so When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Make